from the other side of the world, and so the internet here is not that great. I actually just squatted in a little conference room here. I'd love to take you guys out to the beach and show you how beautiful it is here, but yeah, there's no Wi-Fi out there whatsoever. So hopefully you guys can forgive the lighting and the sound and the Wi-Fi quality. And K-Dub was cool enough and awesome enough to bring us on and have us chat back and forth, man. So it's great to meet you, man. It's great to be here.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. We just went live. I'm just making sure we're good on my end too. For everybody that's joining in right now, we had some issues right in the beginning. Horrible, all this technical difficulty, but we're back. We're here, so we're live. This is, if you guys don't know, this is Crypto Beadles. You've probably seen him around on YouTube. So yeah, what's going on, everyone? How are you? How's your vacation, or where are you at right now?
So I'm doing a little bit of work. I'm going to lean forward into the microphone so people can hear me better. I'm doing a little bit of work here in the Dominican. Brought the family with me so that way everybody could, kind of hang out. Because at the end of the day, if you can't, be with your family along with along the journey and doing everything with them, then kind of what's the point really? So it's great to have them here with me. There's about 30 of us, so we're here in the Dominican. And the Wi-Fi is horrible, but the weather is amazing. And you couldn't tell because of the conference room. It's like 110 degrees inside this building, but we're able to talk to each other. So
yeah,
awesome.
I was expecting a tropical sunset background type thing going on, but we got the conference room, so that's just as good, man.
Yeah,
So,
I would totally love to. So what do we got here?
awesome.
Totally,
So, I mean, we could take an opportunity to sort of introduce everyone. I don't know if everyone is familiar with who you are exactly. You want to just give a little bit of a background, man? I know you're like serial entrepreneur. You're like CEO of multiple companies and, a lot of stuff, a writer and a lot of crazy things you've gotten into in your life, man. So
yeah, God's been good to us, man. So the first thing is, hey, get over here, boy. So this I started really, really early. So this here is my son. Nobody ever believes me because they think we're brothers, which is awesome. I guess it's great
yeah.
genes, right? But we, I started when I was like 14. Been with his mom ever since. So for 26 years, been with his mom. It's been amazing. God's blessed us a bunch. And so when you start that young, it kind of forces you to take care of people. And so I started very early, basically building companies. And so that's something that I've loved to do is take something that's nothing and turn it into something that's amazing. So I guess if I go back to the beginning, I started off in construction, built houses and apartment complexes, things like that, roads and bridges. I started my own company doing the same thing in my early 20s. Made some good money. It allowed me to follow my passion, which has always been software. So like when I was a kid, I always had like the Amigas and I always had like the little IBM 186 DXs and, the little Commodore 64s and the BBS systems and, mom and dad yelling at me to get off the phone line because my bulletin board system was, affecting their phone lines. And anyway, so it allowed me to create my own software company in 2009. And so we started building applications and platforms for the government. So we started building stuff for like the United States Post Office. So it's been a lot of fun. And in 2011 or so, I started getting into crypto because of a guy named Max Kaiser. So,
Yeah.
some guy who Max Kaiser is.
Mm-hmm.
And, the guy is very outspoken, has a lot of, radical views. But one of the things that really caught my ear was about Bitcoin and how basically the financial collapse was due to big banks, it was due to big corporations, central banks, all that kind of stuff, and how Bitcoin could save the day. And so at that point, I really started looking into Bitcoin. And so my friends and, family started asking me a bunch of questions about, cryptocurrencies and things like that. And so around 2017 or so, me and the kid, we decided to launch a YouTube channel for them. Didn't want to do it, but we did it for them because we're answering the same questions over and over again. And so we created Crypto Beadles, where we bring on, founders and CEOs of all these different crypto projects and basically let them tell their story to the viewers. Never charge money. It's always free. There's no shilling, any of that kind of stuff whatsoever. And it allows them to kind of talk about what they're doing in the space. And when we started doing that, we noticed right away that basically a lot of them were just out for the money. They're just out for, collecting a paycheck. They really didn't offer a ton of value to the space, or if they did, it was kind of one part of the space, like one like one spoke on the wheel, not the entire wheel. So we created Monarch that would basically allow people to get into cryptocurrency, allow the mainstream to get into crypto without having to understand how crypto works. And so, that's kind of some of the stuff that, I've done. That's, kind of a very brief, abbreviated version of it.
So,
Stuff
so
like
you
that.
basically you were really interested in tech, and then you started the channel mainly just for like educational purposes, essentially, and then it just sort of like grew from there, pretty much.
And one of the biggest things for me is kind of giving back, right? Because we've made our money. Like we've made our money in construction, real estate, crypto, all of it. God's been great to us. So I always give back on every one of our shows. I always give $100 back to the community. I never, ever charge anybody anything. Like you could come on with any project whatsoever. And as long as the audience wants to hear from you, I won't charge you and I won't take any kind of payment.
It's difficult in that sense too, though, because you got to be careful. Like you got to vet these guys before you. I'm sure you do, but like you said, some of them. I mean, I know you speak to a lot of founders. You go out to you're at way more conferences than I am. I'm actually jealous of the fact that you're always out there. I wish I could get to these conferences. It's just time, and I'm not made of money personally. I'm not the richest guy in the world, so I do have to pick and choose the ones that I choose to go to. But I always tell everybody one of the saddest moments, but it was also like an inspiring moment as well, was Consensus, which was supposed to be like the biggest event ever. And it turned out to just be like pretty much no one cared about any of the tech. And it was just like, how can I invest in these early ICOs, flip them, make money? And I think that mentality kind of had a lot to do with the downturn of the market. There was so much greed that was going on. So it's really nice to see that you're taking it from more of a educational perspective and giving them a voice to speak rather than shilling, I guess. So
yeah, I would say that probably only 25% of the people actually make it onto the channel, and I would say that I only return 1 in 100 emails, if that. So, and then I always leave it up to my audience to decide who would they want to bring on. So if you notice the content that comes on our channel, it is solely based off the audience. Like I don't ever bring anybody on that unless I think it brings value or it's somebody I'm partnered with. I don't bring anybody on that they didn't ask for, and I never ever push anything on anybody, because at the end of the day, dude, crypto is, I mean, forgive my vulgarity, but it's risky as shit. All right, you can't. Yeah, crypto is super super volatile, and so you need to make sure that you don't push stuff down your viewers' throats. And I know you don't, but I'm just saying some people do, and because at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to just bring stuff to them that they want to see or that they should know about, that they've asked about, and let them decide whether it's of value or not. I don't ever ask anybody that watches my channel. I never ever say, "Hey guys, this is something I invested in. I recommend you do too." I never ever do that.
Well, I mean, I don't recommend buys, but there are good opportunities out there, and I'll be transparent. I just want to say, somebody in the chat says that there's an echo. It might be coming out of your speakers. Do you have headphones, or maybe you could put your volume down just a little?
Let me turn it down a little bit,
because I can't hear it. But somebody said that there's an echo. I want to.
All right, so let me try it a little bit, and let me jump here on Soundflower and turn it down a little bit. See if that helps out at all. So hopefully that does.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. I'm sure somebody will. If there's a slight echo, if it's really tiny, just be cool, guys. Let it go. So
yeah,
I wanted to.
Again, I'm so sorry. I'm in a conference room, so this place is just filled with echo. With echoes, man.
So I wanted to ask you, man, about your about going to all these conferences and meeting all these people. One of the things that you said before we started, you were like, my favorite thing to do besides talk crypto with a like-minded person is to talk crypto with somebody who is completely against crypto. So tell me about this revolution. Where do you get this passion to just where do you really see this going? Like what drew you to it, man? Where do you think it's going?
I mean, it all started with Max Kaiser, right? And then it just kind of opened my eyes. It was kind of like pulling the curtain back and seeing Oz. And so for people that think, governments and fiats and all that kind of stuff is cool, it's safe, it's where everything should be, then you kind of expose them to blockchain, to crypto, to all the different things that allows them the power to hold their own financial freedom in the palm of their hand and to be able to, take their money with them wherever it is. So you could literally take, a phone, put not to show my own stuff, but you could put a wallet of any kind on it and take crypto anywhere in the world and be able to be self-reliant. You don't need anybody. You don't need a bank. You don't need a credit card. You don't need anybody to tell you whatsoever that no, you spent too much, you can't take any more, you can't use that here, you can't do that there. That's one of the things that brought me into crypto, because like anybody, when you start paying for things, you'll start seeing people put limits on your own money, and they'll start basically telling you what you can do and can't do with your own money, and that's just silly. That's retarded.
That's one
So
of the most frustrating things for me personally, is just dealing with the banks. Like I went through probably 5 or 6 different banks before I finally got a bank that I kind of liked, because I got to know them personally and they were cool. But even then, it's like, there's certain things you'll get. So there's the app that comes out, take a picture of the check. Well, sometimes if that doesn't go through the first time, they won't let you do it again. I work from home. Clearly, I do crypto full time. This is what I do. So, for me to go, then I got to drive out to the bank, and it's just such a pain in the ass, man. And I think one of the things, a lot of people don't really know about my background when it comes to my feelings on, the government and a lot of the things that go on in the world. I sort of keep that off the channel. But yeah, I mean, owning my own things is something that is really important to me. I don't like the concept of I give you my hard-earned money after you've already taken the tax from me, and then you put it in the bank, and then technically it's really only mine as long as I follow certain rules. And, for example, like my dad has had his bank account frozen by the IRS a couple times. He had some hard times with the business a few times, got back, and it's like, so the guy's obviously having difficulty paying his bills and paying the taxes. So now we're just going to freeze the account totally. And it's just like, the system is really crazy when you think about it. And I think, when you look at, even I was talking this morning about the Bitcoin, the original Genesis block, how Satoshi actually put that article in it, relating to these businesses getting bailouts and stuff like that. It's like, well, these guys, they're too big to fail, but meanwhile you're freezing the bank account of the guy who's mowing your lawn, who's trying his best, but we're having a really dry summer and the grass isn't growing. And
yeah, what do you think about that though? Like Satoshi right there, just inscribed in the blockchain forever, and he pulls from England of all places. Do you think that's like him just trying to throw cover, like he's really American, and he's trying to throw like the UK, like as a cover, or do you think he's really from the UK? Who do you think it's a group of people? Do you think it's one person? Who do you think Satoshi Nakamoto really is?
I mean, I think the fun part is not knowing. Oh yes, Craig, right? Obviously, we know that. Yeah, actually, some people they think it's Nick Zabos or Zabos, however you say it, because there was all these really strange connections, and like there was this one podcast where he accidentally slipped up and said Bitcoin instead of Bitgold, and so they thought that was him. But I don't know. I personally think it's probably a group of people. I think to have something this elaborate be just one person, like even Banksy, is Banksy one person or is Banksy a group of people? You never know. I mean, it's like the whole anonymous thing. So for me, it's cool not knowing, and I think that's what makes it so fun, like, and actually almost has like more of an impact not knowing, because then you don't idolize the figure, you idolize the actual thing itself,
well
for lack
said.
of better words, what I'm trying to say. So
Exactly. Well said. I give you the proper respect, shit, man. I honestly, it's, you, Crypto Love, BitBoy, you guys do the news, and I love it because, I'm very, very busy with all the different businesses, with building Monarch, with my other companies, and so I don't have the time that I should have to read all the different types of articles and whatnot. And you do an amazing job, man, at covering, like at blitz speed. You'll cover 30 to 100 different things all in like 15 to 20 minutes, and it's incredible. I love it.
Thank you, man. And you know what? I appreciate it. And what's crazy is before I started YouTube, I used to, at my job, people know I used to be a landscaper. I'd, be riding around or trimming bushes or something. I'd have my headphones in and I'd be listening to crypto YouTube. So I could never watch the videos, you know what I mean? So I always missed out on the visual. So I always had to just listen to crypto videos. And then when I got into crypto, I realized that there's a lot of people just like me that don't have time to scour the internet because, crypto moves so fast. Every single day you miss one beat, your coin is down 50%, Binance is delisting coins, and this guy's getting hacked, and the SEC's making these decisions, and I mean, this affects your money, and I hate to think of the guy that's out there just trying to just do his everyday work at his job, and he can't keep up on what's going on. So I really enjoy it personally. I really do. I love tech, but I also love to just educate, and I feel like the news is the easiest way to do it. And for everybody out there, I've heard some people say it's easy. By the way, it's not as easy as you guys think. Like, it takes like 4 to 5 hours. I wake up very early in the morning to get this news out to you guys. So, I just want to let you know that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely takes a ton of research, and that's what I'm saying, man. That's why I appreciate it so much, is because when you have to spend the actual time to go through, figure out, okay, what's newsworthy, what isn't, what's BS, what's not, and then actually report on it, and then do it in such a lightning fast speed like you do. I really appreciate that. It's like putting stuff in like 3x. Like, so when you listen to like an audiobook or something, you get like 1x, which is like normal speed, but you do everything at 3x. And I really appreciate that, because it's like bam, 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 bam. You just get through it, and it allows me to kind of catch up real quick. So like you, BitBoy, Crypto Love, you guys all do a great job at, reporting the news. So that's something I don't do. I just report, projects that the people, want to hear about, specifically like one project, not like you'll cover 30 to like my one. So that's really, really awesome.
It's cool though, because you get to get actually on the ground floor, and that's one thing that I do miss is I'm always behind a screen. Right now I'm behind a screen. I do all my work from the house or the studio. Very rarely do I get to go out. And when I do, I try to take advantage of it. So that is something that I find there is that human element that's missing. I mean, some of those relationships, face to face, hanging out with somebody, having maybe going to dinner with them or something like that, and that really helps to build relationships. But this is the best that I could do. So I figure if I'm here every day, maybe it's just kind of like having a friend, and that's the whole thing. I feel like with my channel personally, I always just kind of came from the everyday average guy. Like, there's a lot of other people out there, they're like, they've been in stocks, they're financial experts, or they've been in the tech industry, or they've been in blockchain for years. I'm really just the antithesis of just an average person that's just super unbelievably like obsessed with crypto.
All I can say, brother, is whatever you're doing, keep it up, man, because it works. It's awesome, and I dig it. And I'm sure your fans do, and subscribers and followers, and everybody else does as well.
Somebody, not to cut you off, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Somebody was actually asking, because we just sort of briefly brought it up. What do you think about? Do you pay attention to stocks at all? Have you seen what's been going on? Apparently, it's not doing too well, from what I hear.
Yeah, the stock market's down, like I want to say it was something silly, like 800 points or something. But the thing is like with stocks and things like that, there's nothing, even with cryptos, there's nothing you can really do to affect the price, right? So it's one of those things where you got to be like super knowledgeable, do all your crazy due diligence, and understand what project you're going into. If you just give your money to a broker, like Robert Kiyosaki said it best, man, brokers are broker than you. So why
Rich Dad, yeah.
That was from 15 years ago. I mean, it's like, and that has resonated with me since I read Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was like a teenager, right? It's like, and it's so true, because like when I get all these brokers and all these people that tell me they're going to like, do crazy things with my money, it's like, dude, if you're so freaking great, why are you coming to me telling me how to invest my money, right? So, like the stock market, there's certain stocks that I may feel that are worth investing in. But when it comes into just like investing in the S&P 500, or just investing, in just, the top whatever, I don't do that, because it's just like, here you go, we're in Vegas, woo! It's like over the past 100 years, it's done great. Yeah, but there's been some really bad dumps in the meantime, and, from the beginning to now. So, it's like with crypto. I've invested in probably 170 different projects, personally. So I'm not like one of these guys that says, hey, here's something that I think you guys should invest in. It's normally stuff I invest in. I normally don't even talk about, because I don't want people losing money in it. Same thing with stocks. So if I know the company, I know the people behind it, I know what they're trying to achieve, I know they have the team to achieve it, I know they have, something that's of value that people actually would pay for and use, then yeah, it makes sense to kind of throw money at it. But if it doesn't meet their criteria, then you might as well just go to the casino. I mean, seriously.
Well, sometimes it feels that way. But I mean, what are your thoughts on it? So we were talking about stocks. You're saying, man, some are all right, some aren't. But what do you think about this whole like tokenize everything? I mean, is it realistic, or is it getting out of control? I mean, some people will tell you, no, that we're gonna do that. That's where we're going. Ontology. We're gonna tokenize the chair. We're gonna tokenize the table. NFTs, right? But
yeah. I mean, you got a great point. So with crypto, it changes everything. And so like the stock market, it's going to change. Everything on the stock market is going to go the way of the dodo, in my opinion. And this is not financial advice by any means. I'm just an investor and a business builder and a stupid YouTuber. So don't take my stuff seriously. But I'm just
not
saying,
financial advice, guys, from any of us. So.
Exactly. I just believe that you're going to see stocks go the way of the dodo. It's a piece of paper. So like, for instance, when I buy something like a piece of real estate, for instance, I have to go through escrow, title, real estate agents, all kinds of crap. It takes a month. Like one property I've been buying right now is taking a year and a half. Can you imagine it taking 4 seconds? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Literally just changing tokens. You know what I mean? It's like, now I own it.
Yeah.
That's where things are going. Like blockchain is going to change the world. I mean, you got people like Alibaba that owns 10% of the world's patents on blockchain. You got Walmart, you got IBM, you got MasterCard, that owns tons of patents that are coming out with interoperability patents between payment protocols. I mean, it's just silly. And so to think of, like the stock market, it's like, yeah, that's going to be something our grandparents were talking about. It's all going to change in the next 10 years. You won't even recognize the stock market anymore. It's all going to be crypto based, in my opinion. And I think that's the way things are going, because people are going to be able to change stocks just like you would a crypto from, some kind of, like, I don't know, something like, some kind of air swap of sorts, where you're tired of X, you change it for Z,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Yeah, AirSwap has actually made it a lot more personalized as well. They're doing their whole spaces now where they almost have like different chat rooms where you have your own OTC. You just deal with individuals. You can customize it to whatever ERCs you want. And I think that that's really what we're seeing is happening, is that people are taking back that power. When you think about, they say like permissionless, right? And, John McAfee, he's a crazy guy, but he talks about this all the time. He talks about like, oh, well, I can drink because I'm allowed, because I have permission. But if I go to this particular place, maybe I can't. Or if I'm this age in this state, I can do this. I could shoot a gun here. I can't own a gun here. I can't do, there's so many different, and it's just like, this just basically makes it permissionless. Your money is your money. And it was funny, you were talking about taking forever. This house that I'm in right now, I actually built this house. This is my...
Those are some very nice cabinets, man. It's I love your taste, man.
Thank you. I went for the dark approach. Very, very simple. But the thing is like, yeah, I've been here for 3 years, but it took me like freaking 2 years just to get the paperwork done. They had to do all these different background checks. I had to give them my, 6th grade spelling bee results. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what else do you want from me? And then what's funny is we got so pressed behind on the deadline that they were behind. And then they actually made me restart the process over again because some of the documents had expired. And it was just such a ridiculous process. And it's just like, this can all be solved with blockchain. And I'm not trying to be that guy, but it really can. There's no reason that I have to shuffle through stacks of paperwork, send things through the mail, and take 2 years to build a house when I have the money and I have all the information right here, right now. Let's go.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's why it's going to change the world, because everybody sees it. Everybody knows it's coming. That's why you have the biggest companies in the entire world all embracing it, all trying to be to the leader of the packs in it, get all the patents before anybody else can. Like myself, I've got several patents that are pending that we should have granted, from reoccurring blockchain payments, decentralized, all that kind of stuff. We know it's the future, and these big companies, they know it is too. And so just like with all the pains you just spoke of there, the pains I spoke of, that's nothing compared to like what people in third world countries have to deal with when they have a government that's completely just batshit crazy. It's, they can't even pay for a banana. You know what I mean? It's like they can't even, support their families. So like crypto will change the world. So it's one of those things that I fully, believe in, embrace. And, I think that it's going to do incredible things for this world. And so it's just a matter of time. We don't have mass adoption yet. And that's one of the problems with AirSwap, and companies like that. Is, it depends on a user base. So for every buyer, there's a seller for, and if they don't have the users, then you're there waiting. You're in a waiting line forever trying to make a swap. Stuff like that will be, the thing of the past here shortly once we start having some serious mass adoption. It's just a matter of time before, we get some big exchange or we get some kind of big, like Telegram or Facebook or somebody like that just throws their own cryptocurrency out there, and then boom, you're going to have, I think, lights out. Everybody's going to be blockchain. And the biggest thing that I've always said is, for blockchain to take effect, it has to be like Facebook, to where people are hitting that thumbs up button. They don't care about the algorithm. They don't care about the protocol. They hit the thumbs up button. They're liking something. They don't know how it works. They don't care how it works. It just works. And when we get to that point with crypto, with blockchain, that's when it's going to take off. And I think it's coming, man. What do you think it's going to take, though, for like crypto mainstream adoption?
Well, I mean, I have a lot of opinions on this, but this is like my whole thing on my channel, mainstream. That's like what I talk about all day, is how the hell do we get these people to get in, right? I think that it's the ease of use, the simplicity. You know, is it faster, cheaper, more secure? Is it better than what I have right now, or at least is it equivalent, right? But I think if it's equivalent, people might still go the centralized route because they're comfortable, and most people don't like change. We can pretty much agree on that. Yeah, they just get on the hamster wheel. They do the same thing because it's comfortable, right? You don't ever second guess it. You know, unfortunately, it takes things like, you know, Cambridge Analytica to kind of get people to wake up a little bit, you know, with Facebook and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be ease of use. It has to be, like you said, for example, when you push, you know, a like on Facebook, easy, centralized server, no problem, we got it. You push a like on a blockchain, well, that's got to get put into a block. That actually has to get stored. You know what I'm saying? And you got 40,000 people hitting likes at the same time because, you know, we go crazy on our Instagram and the whole platform's down. So, I mean, as far as like these, like I think, and also the features too. Like I know, for example, you know, I'll shill your project for you. I'll bring it up. You don't have to feel uncomfortable about it. I know that you're involved in Monarch Token, which is a wallet. So, you know, take, for example, a wallet. You know, what are some of the services that, you know, you're considering that people need? Now, for me, like, just going to throw it out there, you know, I want to be able to do things inside of a wallet that make my life easier. Like, I want to have APIs I could connect to exchanges. I want to be able to instantly convert, you know, all of my, you know, tokens into one coin, like a nuke button, like you see some of these other guys coming out with, right? I want a wallet that can convert ERC20s to mainnet tokens for me. You know, anything that's going to make my life simpler and get that user base and that network adoption, that's really what's going to pull it in. Because, you know, even my dad, I talk about him all the time. The poor guy's been trying to set up a Coinbase account. I've walked him through 99% of it, but the rest he has to do. You have to go to your bank. You have to, he doesn't even have internet banking. That's how, like, outdated it is sometimes with the guy. So it's just, you got to make it idiot proof, essentially.
No, you're right. You're right. And so with Monarch, this is not financial advice. Honestly, if none of you buy a single token, I am 100% okay with that. All I ask is that you download it for free and try it and tell me if you love it or hate it. That would make my day, because I love to build things, put it out for the world to use, and if they love it, that's enough for me. So with Monarch, it's the same thing. So imagine like building a skyscraper. All right, so we started off in real estate. That's my foundation. Obviously, I'm a tech geek. I love tech. But so let's just put it in just very simple terms. I always explain it like this: where you got a skyscraper, you need a wallet. That's the foundation. So the foundation should consist of all the different cryptocurrencies out there, all the different coins, all the altcoins, all that stuff. You should be able to safely secure, decentralized. Okay, so nobody has access to it. Nobody's tracking your crap. None of that stuff, right? So not like this ethos BS where they keep your, you know, your email, your location, your cell phone information, none of that crap.
Yeah, that is interesting to think about. Actually, not to cut you off, but I want to just, I will let you finish, but I want to tell my viewers a story real quick. When we first got up and you were like, what's a good place to reach you? I said, oh, do you do WeChat? And what was your response? Just getting off topic. What did you say? You could say it. It's fine. You were like,
yeah, basically, I don't use anything that the government 100% tracks. And so WeChat is completely controlled by the Chinese government. And they just monitor everything that you say and everything that you do. And so what's the point, right?
Yeah. Just wanted to throw that in. So I just wanted to like validate this guy. Literally, I could tell you definitely put your, you know, you not money where your mouth is, but you know, you won't even use these things. Like that's how much against them you are. So
no, like, yeah, it's like the funny thing is you know, it makes me laugh, but it kind of makes me sick at the same time. People keep trying to compare us to Ethos, and it's like Ethos is, glorified wallet that, you know, raised like 100, 200, $500 million market cap. They came out with nothing. We came out on my own dime and Snae's dime, my co-founder, Snaebot, Cryptosomniac. We built a kick-ass, you know, cryptocurrency wallet that has, you know, like 1,800, 2,000, 2,500 different cryptocurrencies that you can store 100% decentralized on for free, right? So, you know, back to the original, you know, diagram, I guess, is if you're building a skyscraper, you start off with the foundation, which is the wallet. And so to bring people in, people don't understand blockchain. They don't understand cryptocurrency. They don't understand any of it. All they know is they hear about this thing on Bitcoin on TV, and it's super volatile. You can be rich one day and completely bankrupt the next. So what we did is we added all the cryptocurrencies, including a stable coin, to our wallet. Then we allow for reoccurring decentralized, not a hot wallet, not like, hey guys, give me your private key and, we'll share it and we'll like, spend your money, with you. Wink, wink, nothing bad can happen here, guys. So what we do is we have a reoccurring, payment option. So if you want to pay for your house payment, your car payment, your Netflix, Hulu, whatever, it's decentralized. So you can pay all these reoccurring payments, using the wallet. And then you can, because we have a broker dealer license, right? So a wallet is just like the foundation. We actually have a broker dealer license. I'm pretty sure, and I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I think we beat Coinbase to it. We just have not announced it. We've not done press releases. We haven't done TV, that kind of stuff. We've been busy behind the scenes building all this stuff and giving it to people, not giving a crap if we raise money or not.
How do you get around the regulatory issue? You're from the US, right? And they're okay with this? They don't mind that, like you said, it's totally, like you said, like Ethos, you have to go through all these different KYC type things. Yours, you just download it, that's it?
So again, like with the broker dealer license, right, that allows us, here's the second part of the wallet. So the wallet is 100% decentralized, requires no AML, no KYC, none of that stuff whatsoever. It's a decentralized wallet. What we're doing is we're actually going to have like a second section that they'll be able to, slide a little switch and connect their bank account to. So everything is completely, SEC compliant. We have some of the best attorneys on the planet, working with them now, doing all the paperwork. They've done the paperwork. We already have our broker dealer license. So it allows us to basically anywhere in the world, conduct things like you would need KYC and AML for. So that allows people to put money into the wallet to be able to, buy and sell cryptos at the best prices and put it back into their bank account. So that way, that's one of the problems is people, they have to belong to like 150 different exchanges. And so that's a lot of paperwork. That's a lot of, hey, what's the best price, to buy? What's the best price to sell? All that kind of stuff. And so with Monarch, I've spent a lot of time, me and Snay, building partnerships with all these different people to where Monarch as a whole can belong to 200, 2,000, whatever different exchanges, plug them into Monarch. That way people can buy and sell at the best prices on Monarch, take the money, put it right back into the bank account, SEC compliant, right? So we're doing everything we can to do things legitimately here in the United States as well as abroad. So that's one of the things, like when I would interview people, they would always say, hey, I've got an ICO, I've got a TGE, whatever, we're not going to do things in the US. And my audience would get pissed because some people would want to invest, but they're not able to invest because of where they live. So some people in the Asia or wherever, they can't invest. Some people in the United States, they're not able to invest. So with Monarch, we basically came up with two coins. So this way, or two tokens. So this way people can invest. People in the United States can invest, people abroad can invest. We have a security token, we have a utility token. 50% all the money that we charge merchants, because guess what? Behind the scenes, rather than talking about it, we've been building it and working with our partners to do it, is we created a merchant plugin. So that way, say you're, a shoe company, right? And you want to be able to sell shoes and you want to be able to take cryptocurrency, but you don't want to deal with cryptocurrency because it's super volatile. So what we do is we'll take our users' Bitcoin or Monarch or whatever, convert it to fiat using our BD, and pay the shoe store in fiat. So that way everybody can do it. And so all of this basically takes place or will take place on the Monarch wallet, as simple as like Facebook. And so the idea is basically to create something that's as simple as Facebook, but to allow you to control every facet of your financial life right from the palm of your hand. And so that's what we try to do with Monarch, is basically make kings and queens of everybody to control their own finances. And so, it hasn't been, easy by any means.
Is the tech a little blockchain agnostic though, from your standpoint? Because I know currently you're dealing ERC20 Ethereum, right? But are you willing to be able to migrate? Because you never know. You never know, man. XRP was number 2 last week. So
my buddies at XRP. So the thing is with ERC20 right now, it is the most fungible token with the most extensive libraries, right? So one of the
things, over 90%, I think, at this point, something like that.
Yeah, there are far superior blockchains out there, but they don't have the people. And that's one of the things too. It's like, okay, so was Facebook the best, option for social media? Who knows? But they got the most users, right? So if you got the most users and you're kind of like first to market of sorts, and nobody in crypto, let's face it, other than Ethereum and Bitcoin, is first to market. Anybody that tells you otherwise is full of crap, because nobody other than us 1%ers know blockchain, right? So the rest of the world, they don't know crap about blockchain other than Bitcoin. So if you got something kick-ass that is really cool and really easy to use, and they don't know that it's blockchain, and it's better than what they're using, in my opinion, that's where you put your money, right? So whatever those things are going to be, that's where I'm putting my money. And so it's the same thing with Monarch, right? It's one of those things where we start off with the ERC20 because the people in the community, that's where they're at. But that's not where we're staying. Like it's easy, to throw up a C++ freaking blockchain, man, and bounce it off a bunch of AWS servers and have your own chain that's way faster than Solidity.
There's I'm not going to mention any people, but there's some projects out there that are doing kind of what you're saying and trying to be like this is some ridiculous new tech out there, and they're really misleading a lot of people, which is a shame. But I wanted to ask you about that, man. You've been in ICOs. You did an ICO. What is your stance on the ICO space? I mean, over in America, people are just like downright. One, we couldn't get involved in it. We were pissed. And then the people that did get involved lost their money. So, ICOs are pretty much just completely hated over here. Like, how do you think we'll ever gain that trust back for startups? I know for me, if I do a project on my channel that people don't really know what it is, they haven't really heard about it, it instantly has that connotation with, ew, it's an ICO, don't go near it. You know what I mean? And it could potentially have really good tech, but it's just you can't get that taste out of your mouth with these ICOs,
Yeah, the thing with ICOs in general, right, is I would say that 90%, let's just call it 90%, are money grabs. And it's unfortunate because the thing is when people started making money last year, like big money, stupid money, a lot of people got in the space for all the wrong reasons. And they weren't offering real value. I'm one of the guys myself that invested in certain ICOs that, had a great idea, a decent team, and they're no longer around, right? I've lost money on 2 out of 172 investments. So that tells you something, right? So there's a couple that I didn't do full due diligence on. I would say that for people that want to invest in ICOs, they're super dangerous. If you go back to my very first video, I did it at the very peak of the crypto market when everybody was saying, this is the future, everybody's going to get stupid rich. And I told everybody, hold your horses, you guys are going to lose your ass. Be very, very, very careful because this stuff is super volatile and it's going to dump any day. And guess what? It did. And so, I've been the epitome of the opposite of a show guy. And I've always told them that these ICOs and all this stuff is dangerous just for the simple fact that, people are greedy. And there's some people out there that just try to prey on other people. And so, not to take this into a bad, bad positioning of any sort, but there's a lot of people out there that will take advantage of people. It's just that simple. It's that way in anything. When I walk down
yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I got 2 questions in the chat for you. Do you mind? I want to hop in before they get out. That one person wants. Well, let me ask you the quick one first. 2 people want to know, where can they get your hat? They love the hat. Where's the
Chicago.
hat?
Chicago. I got it in Chicago. I got 3 of them for $15. Can't beat it. It was at the let's see, what was the name? It was blockchain. It was crypto. No, it wasn't blockchain. It was Voice of Blockchains. Yeah. So
it's not something they can get online though, I think, because they want to
Yeah, Bitcoin, baby. It is king. It always will be. So in my view, anyways. But that's my number 1 favorite coin other than Monarch. So. Yeah.
Someone's actually asking as well if the Monarch token airdrop bot is legit or not.
I hope so. I don't know which one you guys are using, but if you go to our Telegram channel, it's just Monarch token. Then hit up one of the admins there, and they'll make sure to send it to you, because there's lots of people out there that pretend to be me. There's like 100 different Crypto Beadles, and there's just one.
I found out the other day. Apparently, I have a LinkedIn that I never made. That somebody's pretending to be me, and they have over 230 connections or whatever it is, and I don't have a LinkedIn. I don't do LinkedIn. I know I'm old. I just don't do it. I don't need to. If I need to get a hold of somebody, I literally call them. But there's a lot of impersonators, a lot of scammers, a lot of phishing sites and stuff. So guys, always just in general, if you don't know, go to the source, go to the website, go to their links, use their trusted sources. You know what I'm saying? And that just goes for everything, for sure.
Just hit up our admins. And speaking of LinkedIn, it just kind of plays nicely into it. A good buddy of mine is the co-founder. Well, he's the co-founder of LinkedIn. He's also one of our advisors and partners. Eric Lee, the co-founder of LinkedIn. So,
I have nothing against it. I just don't use it. I don't have a.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
love LinkedIn. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's a good way to basically do your homework on people of sorts. At the same time, though, you have to be careful because it's just stuff they want the world to see. So it's a good place to start. It's not the place to end. It's Facebook on steroids for
It's like
professional.
Instagram for big boys, except the filters are my previous job experiences.
Exact.
Did you ever see the I wish I could pull the meme up right now. There's actually a comparison, and it's like people in blockchain, and this is just a joke. Don't take offense to anybody in the. It'll be like, my LinkedIn profile, and it's like there's like 100 different things, and then it's like in real life, and it's just like unemployed, and he's just like sitting there like looking at CoinMarketCap. It's like, you can pretty much be anything in this space. I could be a professional, whatever. I don't think anyone's an actual expert in, unless you're like a cryptographer or like you've been working with cryptography. Who's an expert in this space? It's 10 years old. Well, this is what we're doing right now, not the tech, but
Bitcoin is 10 years old, but
yeah.
as far as like what we're doing right now, it's yeah, we're at the infantile state. This is like we haven't seen anything yet. And so like when I look at projects that are I think ahead of the curve, what do you think of things like Stellar and Ripple and Orbs and yeah, I mean, I guess the Lightning Network for Bitcoin and things like that could easily replace Ethereum, right? Everybody's on Ethereum. They're like, oh, it's great, blah blah blah. But Bitcoin, like my boy, that created BitHalo, he actually built his first project ever on Bitcoin. So you got David Zembeck, the world's first smart contract creator, one of my good friends and advisors on Monarch. He actually built it on Bitcoin, and people are just now in the news talking about it. And it's something he did before Vitalik ever created Ethereum. What are your thoughts on these kind of blockchains?
You talking on top of like how they're having like side chains off of Bitcoin, you mean?
No, basically building dApps on top of Bitcoin.
I don't know. I don't know. To be honest with you, I can't even pretend like I do. It's like you said, you've heard he's been doing it. For me, I literally just read this in the news. Like you said the other day, I literally just read this. So I don't even have an opinion formed around it yet. I don't know. I mean, is it scalable? I mean, can you use the Bitcoin? Can you take the chains and then have like multiple chains that you can link together? Because then they would become interoperable with each other, and then technically you could scale infinitely on Bitcoin if you were using side chains, I think. So
Yeah, that's a great point. And that's something we definitely need. Right now, they're building dApps on top of basically C++ or the Bitcoin protocol. And so like Zembeck did that. Geez, I don't know, like 2010, something like that. So like 8-9 years ago almost. And yeah, as far as the interoperability stuff, that to my knowledge has not been done on Bitcoin. But I don't know that on any chain. I mean, I've heard lots of people talking about it, but as far as other than like Ethereum and Dogecoin, I haven't heard of anybody actually successfully doing it yet.
well, I think
So
right now the whole interoperability thing, I think it's more of like a buzzword kind of facade in a way, because two chains that are completely different native chains, they're never going to be interoperable in the sense of actually sending this data to that chain. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to freeze an asset over here, and then it's going to appear on the other one. You know what I'm saying? It's the illusion of interoperability. But unless they're actually running on the same protocol, I am not aware. If I'm wrong, please chat, let me know of a way to do that. And I've been very interested in interoperability. I've looked into BlockNet. I've looked into, what Icon and WanChain and all those guys are trying to do. Komodo, they're working on it as well. And it's never really, you're never going to have every single native chain talking to each other. And I've actually heard people say that they're not even focused on it. Like some people are like, oh, well, when is true interoperability going to happen? I don't think ever, because if you focus on just interoperability, you're spending your whole life trying to glue things together and you're not focusing on the bigger picture. So that's kind of like my take on it. Can't hear you, man. Did you mute yourself or? Can you guys hear Beatles? I lost sound. So I guess in the meantime, I'll see what's up. What are you guys doing in the chat? Let's have a look at the chat. Hey, Gandhi, so inspirational over
can you hear
here.
me now?
Yeah, I can hear me too now. Hello, but
Hear me now?
yep, you're back.
All right. Awesome.
Sweet, nice.
Let me
Yeah.
get back to the chat so I can see. Man, it's my screen is so tiny here, so it's really difficult for me
Oh,
to read.
it's all good, dude. Yeah, I got Gandhi in the chat over here, man. Everything's like, be the
Yeah.
change you wish to see. It's like the most inspirational chat going on over here. I love it, man. Thank you guys rule, by the way. Thanks for everyone on both channels that's stopping by today. I appreciate it.
The road to success is always under construction. But I got lots of my family over here in the chat, all chatting it up, and I can't quite read it because it's about like 2 points tall. So it's sorry for not being able to get back to everybody. But yeah, as far as blockchains in general, man, like what's your favorite chain right now? I mean, other than Ethereum or Bitcoin, what do you got going on? What's
Man, I've really been kind of trying to keep it under wraps without getting too excited. Okay, I'm not going to go with any of like the top ones. All right, we're not going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm talking about one that's actually got me pretty excited recently. Have you looked into Ergo at all? The parent company is Blocko.
I've heard of it. I've not looked into it, man.
It's pretty cool, man. And it's not so much the fact like it's not that like okay, they're doing some crazy insane tech. It's not like that. You know what I mean? Like you said, there's only certain limitations to what we can do right now. But the thing is that they have such a big user base already, already working with all these different enterprises. They work with different legs of Samsung. They have partnerships with all these different guys like AWS and IBM even, and they said IBM is like one of their biggest competitors. And I don't know, I was really impressed. I've been looking into them a lot, so that's kind of like my current favorite blockchain, but it's not even out yet, so we'll have to see. I mean, who do I, like you said, the only reason that like I'm not, if it was a new chain that was just coming out, I would say let's be careful, it's in a test environment. But because they've already have the technology with CoinStack, which is their blockchain that they use, and it's already working, that's why I'm excited. It's almost like reverse ICO in a way. Like you already have a product that works. You're just now just going into blockchain with it. You're not really starting from scratch, and I think that's what I like about it personally. But what about you? I mean, what are you into? Or
yeah, I mean, as far when it comes to like blockchains or just things that actually work right now, you get a lot of people that love or hate Ripple. It works, right? You can't dispute it. It freaking works, right? But Stellar is one that I really like. As far as like a blockchain you can build upon, that's really really sexy and cool. I like some guys out of Israel called Orbs. I don't know if you guys have heard about them or not.
No.
Orbs got company. Let's see here. Of course, I like GoChain. Those are my buddies there.
Oh, GoChain?
Yeah, I like GoChain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're a little, they're kind of, they run on Ethereum on the side a little bit, and they're like, I don't know, 1,000 times faster, and they work today. So, I don't want to shill them too much, but their founder is one of our advisors and partners, and they're an amazing company and people, and I love those guys. When you got, let's see, what else is out there that works? That a lot of people like Tron. It's one of those things like with Tron. It's something I'm invested in personally. It's one of those things that a lot of people say that they were a fraudulent company in the beginning that raised a crap ton of money that allowed them to become legitimate, right? So,
well, that's what I was gonna say. See, that was the thing. Like they could have done the wrong thing, but they actually used the hype and they took the money and they're actually producing with it. So hats off to them because acquiring BitTorrent and all these other things that they've done. It's yeah, like you said, at least they're using the money they made.
Charles Hoskinson, man, he's partnered with my
Cardano.
boys.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, like if that guy just does 10% of what he's talking about, it's going to be the biggest thing since freaking microwavable pizza. Like it's incredible, right? So it's like that dude is so freaking smart. Like when you talk to that guy, all he wants to do is build the best damn blockchain ever. And those are his words, not mine. Those are his words. So that's all he cares about doing. So things like ADA, those things right there. I mean, we've all heard about it. So it's one of those things that, everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, off of infrastructures too. By the way, I mean, you named great projects. I like I said, I was kind of steering clear of the ones on the top. I figured everyone knew about them. But like, yeah, definitely those are great projects. I think too, like, for me, I've been focusing a lot on blockchain gaming. Now, I'm not like I used to be a huge gamer years ago, like like huge. But obviously you get older, it's difficult, you know, there's not as much time, but I'm still passionate about the ideas in the space. And I think that blockchain gaming is going to be huge. Like, think about getting these, you know, NFTs traded, these ERC 721s, and, you know, like collectibles. I really think it's going to be huge. Trading skins, people can create things, sell them. And like you said, it's yours. Nobody owns it. Nobody's the middleman. It's just me to you, you know, all smart contract based. So I see that being huge too. So then, you know, that would put in things like Loom Network, you know, Wax, Engine, things like that. You know, there's a newer one. Not actually, they're not new. Cocos actually is recently coming out. They're really big over in the East. They have their own blockchain solution coming out as well. So I think blockchain gaming is going to be big, personally. Because
No, you're right.
you don't have to consent to use it. It just. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, no, you're absolutely right. Gaming, porn, that's like two of the things that bring into option, right? So, no, you're right. I mean, like I was on a panel a couple of days ago there in San Francisco, you know, at home, and you know, like Alessi was saying that, you know, he's one of the big, you know, the big gaming guys, and you know, the influx, the mass movement to like his project and stuff like that. It's like there's when you look at these games that are out there right now, you know, it's just silly, the user adoption. And so if they're able to translate that into blockchain, it's like that would be huge, right? So social media, me honestly, I think that it's going to start with the financial markets, and then it's going to move into like possibly gaming or social media, something like that. And then you'll get your mass adoption. But yeah, with the gaming stuff you're talking about, those blockchains, it's like, if you find the right one, dude, that could be huge. But there's a lot of scammy ones out there too. I've interviewed a lot of people out there that never ever hit the channel, that all talk about some crazy stuff and crazy transactions per second that are based on gaming. And they're just
I've done interviews that I've never released before that people don't know about, because you know, you can only do so much research in a day.
Right.
So that, you know, I look it up, I check the white paper, I check the team, I consult a couple researchers that I work with, everything looks all right. You do the interview, and then all of a sudden, like a couple days later, you start seeing like some red flags shooting up, and you're like, oh, I can't put this out. Like, what is this? You know what I mean? And it sucks because people hold guys like you and I in such, you know, there's a lot of responsibility. Like, I try my best, but you know, I'm only a human. You know, I can only base things off of the research in front of me. I have a white paper, I have a team, and I have people that can do research. Outside of that, I don't know what the guy does when he goes home behind closed doors. I don't know, you know, everything. So, and the thing is a lot of these projects that were raising this so much money. I mean, you're not seeing this happen out in the real world. I mean, companies that are being valued at $30 million, I mean, they've been around for 50 years. They're just starting to raise their IPOs. And you have like some ICOs out there that you're seeing these guys, they get so much money so fast. What's your incentive to finish your project? You just walked away with 45, 100, 200 million dollars. What's your incentive to actually build the thing at this point, right? I mean, you're getting the reward before the work. And, you know, human nature says, you know, 99% of the time, you're just going to say, screw it, I'm taking the money. So
yeah, there's a lot of people out there that do that for sure. That's why, like with Monarch, for instance, and we built, you know, a big chunk of it and gave it to the world for free before we even told people we were coming. And that's what pissed off a lot of people in the ethos community, was that all the stuff they were talking about doing, we did for free before we raised a single penny. So that's definitely one of the things, man, that people notice and take notice too. But,
well, what do you think of like kind of implementing something moving forward where token or the funds get released to the team as milestones are hit? And if not, then I think the investors should have an opportunity to take their, you know, if you're not doing what you say you're going to do, I signed up for this because you promised to do things. If you don't do them, shouldn't I get my money back? Right?
Yeah. DAO ICO, DICO. Yep. Those things are great, man. That basically it's what the blockchain's all about, baby. It's one of those things like with smart contracts. I think they should totally do it to where basically if X happens, Y and Z happens, right? So if they talk a big game, they get a bunch of people, you know, all excited about it. They're all ready to throw money into it. That's great. You know, ideas are great, right? But I tell you what, product is way better. But let's just say that they run with an idea. If you're going to run with an idea, then you better get freaking installment payments, just like you would when you build a house. So if you build a house, you know, you start off with an escrow, right? So you start off with, okay, you allow this amount of money to go in puts a foundation down, this amount of money in for the framing, this amount for the electrical, this amount for this, the sheetrock, the paint, the texture, all that kind of stuff. That's how it should be. When you just throw a bunch of money at these kids that have no business experience whatsoever, what do you expect is going to happen? I mean, like I built, a crap ton of multi-million-dollar businesses. Like I get it. Like if you look at our team, it is freaking, it's bones. There's no fat. We don't have a ton of people that are just, sitting around, doing social media, getting paid a shit ton of money, on investors' dimes. I've never used any money from any of our investors, from any of our Ethereum, Bitcoin, any of those kind of, deposits whatsoever. It's all been on Snae's dime, my dime, period. So it's one of those things, man, that you definitely got to keep an eye on those people, man.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. So, yeah, man, listen, I think we went for quite a long time today. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you think we missed something, we had a lot. I mean, I just was happy to speak with you, man. I've seen you around. I mean, I know you're always at conferences. I caught up with you that one time super quick at the Crypto Influence Summit, but I didn't get a chance to stay around, and I left before there was even like any after party because I was just shot that week, man. So it was really nice to have you on the show. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been great, man. I really just wanted to talk news and all that kind of stuff. So
well, we talk news all day over here.
Yeah, maybe next time we'll talk about decentralized exchanges, centralized services, all that kind of stuff. See what people really want. If people really want decentralized, or if they really want customer service with centralized. That's one of the big things that people I don't think fully understand yet in this 1%. So I would love to get your take on it.
We could, yeah. I mean, I don't mind staying for a few more minutes. Yeah. I mean, for a while, my solutions were things like
Part 2 is always fun.
like 0x loop ring, things of that nature. So
what I mean is like imagine where you've got completely decentralized, right? So you got things that like IDEX of sorts, Bancor of sorts. They're not fully decentralized. They say they are, and I got to be careful because, of course, the Bancors are my partners. But at the end of the day, there's still some centralized control. What do people really want? Do they want something that is 100% decentralized, or do they want elements of centralization so they have customer service when crap goes bad? Because we all know it does.
They want the utopia of purely decentralization, but in reality, all right, let's talk about Bancor. When there was the Bancor hack, people were pissed off because Bancor had like a way to freeze and had a little backdoor entrance, right? Well, that's not.
Sorry, EL right now, man. But smart contracts are only as smart as people that write them.
Right. But here's the thing. On the flip side, those people that actually lost their money, aren't they kind of happy that there was a backdoor entrance in a way? Like, aren't they not a backdoor entrance, but I mean, aren't they happy that their funds didn't just get thrown out the window? I mean, what do you think? Like, if it was, okay. See, it's different when it's your money versus if it's not your money. I don't know.
Yeah. See, that is one of the arguments. So that's what I'm getting at, right? Is like for people that have their money stolen, that is horrible. For people, for an exchange to be able to freeze the funds and to keep them from losing their funds, that may sound like a great idea. However, what happens when absolute control corrupts? Absolutely, right? So if they have the ability to have that power, who's to stop them later from controlling something else? Is all I'm saying. And so that's why it's one of those debates that there's no easy answer.
But are we ready for that much responsibility? Like you lose your card, you call the bank, they turn it off for you, right? We're so used to that convenience. It's almost like, I don't know. I don't want to get too political here, but you know what I'm trying to say. You kind of like volunteer your slavery in a way because it's easier and you don't have to do as much work. So, maybe,
so we'll leave them with that.
Maybe another day for that one, Beadles. Oh my God, it's been really fun though, man. Thank you so much. It was great. Next time we'll go into like conspiracies, governments. We'll go all over the place on the next stream. So it's been an absolute honor. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel, everybody that's here. If you haven't had a chance to check out Crypto Beadles channel yet, I have actually your link is in my description below, so definitely check it out. And yeah, man, you're welcome back on the channel anytime. So, I'd love to meet you in person too, especially if you're going to be in World Crypto Con. I'll see you there. So
yeah, I'll definitely see you in October. Well, I guess this month.
Right.
So I'll
see
you
soon.
So God bless. Thanks everybody for dropping by. Sorry if I didn't see all the comments and stuff like that. I will make sure to answer them as soon as I can.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, everybody. So obviously you guys know the drill. Stay crypto. And till next time, peace out.